Greetings, and welcome to Earground New Voices Amplified. My name is Paul Mark, and welcome to the platform that speaks to creatives, Zimbabwean creatives. And today I'll be speaking to somebody who's been making music for so many years. One person that I grew up listening to, and has never stopped making music. He's got a new album, Born to Lead, but we're gonna be taking him back into time, when he got into music, the first years, and one of his biggest tunes, which dropped around early 2000, 2001, 2002 there. And I'm going to be speaking to GANJAHTRIX. Most of you may know him as Jobless. Jobless, GANJAHTRIX, welcome to Earground.
Thank you, Plot. Greetings, all listeners. Yeah, it's always a pleasure, to be at a place like this one. Yeah, just to share my musical experience.
Bless. I mean, a lot of people have been asking online, and I've still not seen an explanation. Did you abandon Jobless to GANJAHTRIX, and what was the reason for the transition?
Abandon it's kind of like too hard, because there's no way I can just like drop it and cut it out completely, because it has to be a transition,
Yes.
But nevertheless, officially now I've chosen to use the name GANJAHTRIX.
Yes.
And I should highlight that it's rebranding. It's more than just a name change. You see, and when I say rebranding, I mean it's like a total evolvement of the or the evolution of, in terms of the musical experience, the music that I'm offering, in terms of the how I'm doing my business, the sound, the whole thing. Because if you see with Born to Lead, it's more like more classical, and I'm trying to refine my art. I'm trying to to perfect. I've been doing this, and we should continuously learn. It's a continuous learning process. We shouldn't like stick to just one thing and then just try and reinvent the same thing. But we have to evolve and to discover our strengths, and to really clarify our purpose, in this thing. So that's how I came up with GANJAHTRIX. After having realized that there's too many jazz, especially in the Zimbabwean context. And with me calling myself giant so and so, it's more to do with my faith, with Rastafari and my purpose, more than just music. But it's become more of like a musical thing, or even a dancehall thing when we look at it from a Zimbabwean perspective. So I really wanted now. I think now it's high time people really understand who I am, understand who I am, and that I've got this classical serious music. It's more than just like hype. I'm not that much of a hype artist, although I've heard songs which have been hyped around, that kind of thing. But by and large, I prefer to be that solid artist who's got a strong message, you see, but highly entertaining, you see. So now that's what GANJAHTRIX is now clarifying, or trying to show the people who I am. So I would say GANJAHTRIX is a more refined version of Jobless.
Bless. And I'll take you back. You grew up in Kwekwe. And you still represent your neighborhood of Kwekwe up to date. But your early years in music, we started knowing you when you dropped which is a big song. Take us back. What fed your imagination? What inspired you to really get into music, at a tender age?
I've always been a music person. But from even before going to school, but I never thought I was going to be part of the people who will be creating this music. And I've always been a listener, but I think the Most High has always been preparing me for what I'm doing right now. It's like a destiny. So I used to listen to a lot of, like, from early age. It's around even 3 years old. I was already exposed to artists like Peter Tosh, Bob Marley,
Oh, great.
Green Rice, because my brothers used to listen to a lot of reggae culture, Joseph Hill,
Yes.
So I grew up into reggae. It's like I was born into the reggae music. You see it. So from day one, I love the music, and I love the message, until now. Like 1994, I started doing music like seriously, professionally, 1996. But around 1994, 95, when Ganesuk was passed away, Ganesuk was my favorite artist that time. I would listen to Ganesuk. That time we didn't even have CDs. I would listen to Ganesuk cassettes. We've been getting music from some other brethren who were already in UK. Who were sending us music back home. So I used to listen to Ganesuk day in, day out. That's when he was killed. So from that time, I just felt like, no, there's now a huge gap. And if we are going to just look at this thing happen like that, then there's going to be a void, And I just thought for myself, no, I have to be part of this music. I have to be, create this music. So from those early days now, I started working with sound system, StarTime Superpower, which is like
StarTime Superpower.
JJ, Lekupi, Eddie
Wow.
Muffin,
Wow.
Colin Joseph, that was my first sound system to work with.
Just yesterday,
and
I
then
was
I
actually
played.
playing. Just yesterday, I was actually playing a song from StarTime.
All right.
Shinurai StarTime Yahweh.
The doublets. Yes.
Yeah,
that was Rasi.
Rasi I.
I think on that one also Major E was there and Booker T. Yeah.
Bugatti, wow.
So I joined that movement during those days because they'd done that doublet, and I went on to do my doublets also as well that time, which did much the dance. So my first recordings really were doublets because we didn't have access to the studio. So I was working with StarTime Superpower at the same time working with the Crucial Mix, the band. I was working with
you were actually part of Crucial Mix. Wow.
Yeah, actually we formed the Crucial Mix because it was Rough Mix. When I joined it was Rough Mix, and then it evolved to Crucial Mix, and I was there. So it's like in terms of Crucial Mix, I was like a founding member of Crucial Mix band, and also that time Crucial Mix was like a band which backed all the upcoming dancehall artists
that were coming. Yes.
Yeah, like at Crucial Mix, we had also the likes of the legendary Major E, Booker T, Rasi, King Yellow, Rasim Susa, and even Abada Daddy Ray, who's in SA right now, was also part of the artists who were like performing with Crucial Mix band. It was like a session band, and I was also one of them. You see, and that time we didn't have access to record, but we do like the major show was like the tribute to Bob Marley's at the Harare Gardens there. Yes. So those were like the big shows, and we would have like people also like Lego and Shaki.
I think
yeah, Lego and Shaki.
I'd rather be a gangster.
I'd rather be a gangster. Yes. And Metaphysics with the Blackfoot Tribe and Tony Capone, yes. And other, they were on the website, but they would come to our shows and we would mix, So that was the time then until I managed to have my first record when the urban blues movement started. I did a track that was my first song with Dylan Makalima's or Step Aside with Sunny Makalima's brother. And it got to number one.
It became a hit. It became a hit. I remember then, like,
it became a hit. And what people should also note, it was like 6 years after I've been performing music, but without access to the recording studio, because we didn't have access. Not just like me alone, but we didn't have access because Gallo and ZMC, they used to focus on the Sungura, Sungura artists. They didn't believe that the digital music was also going to make it. So it's the likes of Dilana Makalima who opened it for whatever we can say. Even say Fortune Parusa is one of the pioneers. Yeah, and Fortune Parusa, Dilana Makalima, but Dilana Makalima took it to another stage. Like he recorded more artists. It's like he opened it up. You know, we used to have Boki, Leonard Mafumo, XQ, Stana, Sniper. You know, it even opened up for Zim Dancehall, if I should say.
And I mean, what do you remember the most, like, from that experience, you dropping that rock and it becoming a hit? How did that change your life? Like, what memories do you have of that period?
You know, it was like an adventure. It was like a dream, you know. And that time, you know, we were just doing it because we really loved it. It was like calling. But one thing that I still remember up to now is the day I recorded right? Kingpin. That's the first time and the only time I met up with Kingpin. And when I got to the studio, he was just about to leave. And he waited for me to record until I finished my recording, and then we went out together. It's because Kingpin is Ras I's young brother. So when he saw me, he said, no, I used to talk of you with my brother, Ras I, you know, when we rehearse and that kind of thing. So he was also kind of like excited. And me, I had already had him on the track, I Salute You. And he was fire. And you see my first track, Daniel Zurago, it's also Black Conscious.
Yeah, true.
So it was good chemistry between us. And that's the one thing I really remember vividly. And then, yeah, he was a humble young man. We lost him, one of the people that are still mourn up to today.
He was
really,
a real legend.
We did a huge loss to the music of fraternity, because if you see the way he built his lyrics, his expressions, his philosophies at that tender age, he's one artist I would say was ahead of me. I've never had someone I would say, I've never had someone I would say, they might be hyped, they might be well known, but when I look at the real art, you know, the music, Kingpin is one artist who really surprised me in the Zimbabwean context. So we always salute him too, you know, salute the Kingpin.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for sharing that. I mean, I never got a chance to see him, but his music influenced me in a major way. And from then, you did that song, it became a hit. Afterwards, what then happened? Like, were you still making music because there was not so much coming from you from that period? I think until one time when I saw you on TV. What really happened from that period you dropped that until Zim Dancehall came?
Yeah, it was actually, there was kind of like a blank, but I was doing, in terms of releasing the music, but I was doing music behind the scenes, kind of. I was still writing some of the songs. I started releasing, and some of the lyrics I'd conceived them some years ago. Whilst I was like working behind the scenes, because what really happened that time, it was the early involvement of the music, and people were trying to really find out what's happening. We're doing it, but we're also trying to find out what's happening. And the industry hadn't embraced us. We're trying to find our way. So it was really kind of like tough. And also, even from the social settings, the family and the community, it was really hard for you to be defined as an artist. especially for someone like me who was coming from a kind of like intellectual background.
Yes.
Some people thought I was even going mad, that kind of thing. Regardless of me having like number one songs, number one song being celebrated nationally, but even my parents and my family, they couldn't embrace it, they couldn't take it. Even when people would come to say, your son, he's playing on radios, but number one song and that kind of thing, they'll say, what is that? I know he must go back to school. At that time,
was it because music was not really paying then? Was it an issue of money?
It was an issue of money also, and also an issue of what can I say? Cultural
stereotypes.
Yes, you see, in the society, it's like with football. Me also, I was very good soccer. Most people thought I was going to be a football star. You see, but even those early days when I was playing football, I played for professional clubs, even the junior teams. From under 10, 12, and whatever. But still, people will just come to you and say, this football, you can play it, but it doesn't pay. You cannot make a living out of it. So you're always discouraged. So it's like people tried hard to discourage me from doing music. I should have given up. So because that time now I had like a professional background, I'd done a diploma in accounting and a high diploma in accounting. So I was so much under pressure. So I ended up also looking for a full-time job. Given that on the music scene, it wasn't like fully embraced. We're starting to make it, but the industry itself, there was a lot of confusion. And you see, even that time, Delany was there, he was making music, and then all of a sudden, he was out. You see it? So
what did that do to the music industry, like Delany leaving?
If you remember, he also kind of went to South Africa. He closed the studio at the Margolis, and he wasn't kind of there. So yeah, it created another void. You see, because Delany was, when I recorded my song with Delany, that time I'd gone back to Kwekwe. I had to come all the way from Kwekwe to record, and he was like the main man or the only man, not even the main man, because he was recording the who's and who's. Everyone who was, imagine whether it's Black Fetus, Wenyika, whether it's Decibel or whoever, everyone was being recorded by Delany. So for us to have Delany now out, it was a huge blow to the industry. And that's when we started having people like Tech 5, Mr. Tender trying to come in there, and
Gordon Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon also, yeah. I think but Flash is now also, I think he should be that side also. And what's his name? Sibo, not Tech 5.
TBA.
TBA.
Yes.
Yeah, he also started coming in, but it wasn't the same as it was. So it also contributed in to the fall of urban grooves, as it were,
Wow.
Yeah. Although people try to resuscitate it and that kind of thing. So with me, I ended up getting a full-time job, and I ended up being in managerial roles, playing managerial roles in the corporate sector. So that also gave me another exposure that I'm now using right now, because you see this industry, I can say it's 20% art and 80% business.
True.
You see? Yeah, it's more business than art. That's what we get to realize. So my business exposure and being in leadership in business just opened me up and even prepared me ethically in terms of business ethics. Some of the challenges that I had when I tried to reconnect with the music industry. you'd go to some of these studios and you have a recording session maybe 8 o'clock, right? But you'd go up to 2 p.m., without starting your recording. Time consciousness, that kind of thing. The ethics that you have in other professional environments, which are not like the music industry, they would really build you, So I took that and brought it into my business. That's why I can talk of rebranding. You know, that's why I can talk of target the global market. I can talk of segmenting my market and trying to have products targeted for my market. You know, all that is also, I'm borrowing that from them, from my business experience, from my knowledge and my expertise. Because also I went further to do MBA.
Yes, I remember meeting you in Harare sometime in 2011 at NASA, just behind NASA, and you're studying a master MBA. And you managed to complete?
I did not complete the whole program per se, because I did not do my dissertation, but I did the 21 taught courses. I passed them all. I just did not do my dissertation, but others, in terms of going through the classes, I went through all of them.
Wow, great. And fast forward, Zim Dancehall, you guys were part of the movement that I would credit as that laid the foundation from urban grooves, even the dance or the sound system era, the reggae community and the reggae era, to what then became Zim Dancehall. Did you see this happening, like Zim Dancehall coming through and becoming such a big thing? Is it something that you saw developing?
In terms of seeing it and experiencing it, but I never thought it would take the center stage. Because from the time we started this music, right?
Yes.
It was like, what can I say? You know, even reggae, international dancehall, it wasn't the mainstream music in Zimbabwe, remember? But we got to a stage when even international dancehall and the dancehall artists, were the most booked artists, you see, and we experienced an influx of all these artists.
Yes.
So so there was really a change that really happened in terms of that, and we saw more studios evolving, mushrooming in the ghettos, and we saw more ghetto youths coming onto the fore, recording music. You know, so that was the transition. And since I'm someone who was part of it from the start, I saw everything evolving. It wasn't even hard for me to express myself and have my space within the whole movement, because it's like it's the same thing, but also the difficult thing in terms of art is to stay relevant. Even in Jamaican, we have artists like Beanie Bounty, Capleton, who have managed to stay relevant. But if you see some of the artists who were big in the 90s, they're long gone. Some of the artists who were big in the 2000s, they're long gone. Even in the context, most of the artists I worked with in the 90s, the mainstream time, they are no longer very active, you know. So that's what I also try to stay relevant. And I think what makes me relevant and what will keep me relevant is because I do the reality. It's even on Born to Live, the songs that I'm bringing out, timeless music. And I'm very confident that that album will be relevant as long as I'm there and the music is there. In the next 5-10 years, that album will be relevant because of the sound, the messages which are there. So it's about making timeless music. Look at artists like Buju Banton, for example.
Yes.
Reason, right?
Yes.
He did his first concert, or he had sold out concert. Some of the biggest in Jamaican history. You see, but he was smashed up with the old tunes.
True.
You see, but most of the songs which were recorded after his albums, Destiny, Till Shell, and stuff, they're long gone. They just made it just for a year and long gone. Bob Marley, you know, just before I tuned in, I was just going to some Bob Marley interviews on YouTube. You know, he's a great philosopher. You know, Bob Marley.
I actually do the same. I literally sit down to just watch Bob Marley interviews, documentaries, and over and over again.
Is that timeless and that relevance, even away from reggae. Listen to Tupac's interviews, great philosopher.
So,
you see, so there's this thing about music and relevance and reality. You know, this hype music, it comes out, it makes a lot of noise, but it fades away. Our music, it comes out, like with my album Born to Lead.
yes.
I can safely tell you that whoever listens to that album will end up loving it. But it's not the most hyped album in Zimbabwe, and I'm cool with that.
I get
Because
you.
my music, it's like constant, it rises, you know, constantly. You know, I don't want this boom, boom, you know, that you rise and then you go down. You know, my music, it rises, getting more audience, you know, that kind of thing, gradually, you know, until it sticks, you know, into the society. You know, that's how I view my music. Push my music. Like if my music doesn't go fast on the market, you know, even with my album, Want to Lead album, I'll be pushing it for the wall of next year again. If I'm to release something, it won't be like early next year, whatever. If I release something there, I'll just do it, but in terms of the album, but mostly I'll release the album next year. Depends on what will happen. But I'm trying to say this album, I will have to push it more and more and more and more and more and more and more, like in Zimbabwe and internationally. And I'm also grateful that of late I've been having like I've been being embraced on the global platform. I've had some interviews because of this album. Radio station Nigeria. I've had interviews. I've had interviews in the US. You know, some online radios and some other syndicated radios, which are very influential. And the day after, I would say this Wednesday, 24 November, I've got a video that will be premiering on Reggaeville.
Dope. That is great.
You see what I'm trying to say? Yeah. And then because they saw the video, they saw the content, they saw the music and the visual, and the owner of Reggaeville, he loved it. He told me that this is brilliant, and I'm ready to work with you on this one. You see, so that kind of acknowledgement and embracement, that's what I'm looking for. So I've got some other things which are happening that I'm not going to say for now, but I can assure you that I'm pushing this thing on the global stage. That's what I want. That's my ultimate.
Wow, that is quite encouraging there. But before you dropped the Born to Lead, you had dropped a couple of hits, you know. Entertainer was a big song. Doe Coke was a big song, and you have such a very interesting catalog of music that you've continued to give to people that enjoy your music. And do you feel appreciated and respected within the reggae and the dancehall community in Zimbabwe, especially Zim dancehall?
Zim dancehall as a movement, yes, I've got my place. But what I can tell you, safely tell you in terms of being respected, I'm that artist. Like I said, I'm not a hype artist.
Yes.
So people who know me and who know my music, they know what I'm worth. You know, they know what I'm worth, and they are quick to say that. They know my position, right? But when it comes to the Zim dancehall as a movement, there's some other dynamics like politics, industry politics, and that kind of thing. Yeah, it also comes to play, such to the extent that that's why we see we are taking this global route.
Yes.
Because we've realized that what we're bringing, the level of art that we're bringing,
yes,
it won't be celebrated as much as it should be in the Zimbabwean context. In the Zimbabwean context, dancehall became like the mainstream music. So it became like everyone's music, it became like a mass music. So what governs it is numbers and the noise, more than more than the sound itself, the quality of the sound, the quality of the production and stuff. Someone with a better quality production, at times they fall far behind someone who's just making this noise that the people love. But when you now take this music onto the global stage,
it doesn't.
The music that was celebrated at home doesn't make sense.
Doesn't
globally.
make sense. Yeah.
That's why you see our artists are stuck. You see. So yes, I got my place in Zimbabwe. I'm celebrated, yes, and I'm happy with that. Although I know if people understood the music more, they would know who I am. But nevertheless, with the way I'm taking the music direction, I'm taking the music now. People are getting to notice, why is this artist now getting this recognition that other artists are not getting? Why is he scaling these heights and these new avenues that others are not? You see? So that's my strategy. I'm not under pressure to chase what's happening at home, because I know I'm born to lead, and my artist is way ahead of what's happening.
Wow.
You see?
Great. And talking about Born to Lead, I mean, it's such a good album. I took a listen to it and I really enjoyed the tracks that are there. 18 tracks, solid tracks. And you've got a number of collaborations. With Bobo and Elmer and Tristy. And how would you say the album has been doing so far since you dropped it?
According to my plan, huh?
Yes.
And maybe just excuse me a little bit, because we've got heavy rains this side, and then I don't know if you.
It's a blessing that we have heavy rain. That we have rains. Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So what I can safely say, right, is yes, the album is doing very well in terms of it being embraced by whoever gets it, but it's still a long way to reach to people who are supposed to listen to that thing. That's why I'm saying I'll push it gradually. I'm not going to rush it. Like I said, at times you don't get the platforms that you're supposed to get, but you work with those. We say real recognize real. So you end up working with those who are recognizing what you're doing and valuing it. And fortunately, I've been embraced with some DJs on the top radio stations in the country, right? So, and I've had publicity, top newspapers, H Metro, whatever, although, like, as usual, we always struggle to get our music on rotation, and do the same thing, you see. So, but I've got my own strategies, and when it's all said and done, the album will push through. Because I'm confident that I've got a very good product that the people love. So, given that, it's a matter of pushing it, matter of re-strategizing. Because right now, I haven't done so much videos. I'm going to be doing more and more, right, to push the album. And there's other things also on the way. So really and truly, we are good where we are. We are great where we are. Because everyone's saying the same comment. It's a great album. We love the album. It's a great album. Everyone who's got the album, they're saying, whoever I've met to listen to the album, they love the album. So for me, it's a good look and it's a great stuff.
Impact that you want to make as GANJAHTRIX?
With me, right, I want to be a global artist. My goal is to play in all four corners of the globe. My goal is to impact the world with music. My goal is to travel the whole world, with this music, is to play the biggest festivals in the world. Rototom, or whatever, when it comes to reggae, I want to be at the world stage. I want to, play the biggest shows. I want to work with the best artists, the best producers in the world.
Yes.
I want to hit the biggest charts. I want to be there on Billboard. I want to hit the Grammy. You know, I want to perform the biggest shows, reggae shows in Jamaica, Rebel Salute, whatever. So really, I'm not limiting myself. I've been working for this. It's a dream which is slowly coming true.
Yes.
And I think I'm well equipped when it comes to artistry, and I've also got experience on my side, and I also got the discipline on my side as a rapper. That's why I've managed to stay in there. You know, if you see my brand is free from controversies. I've never been on the media for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
You know, yeah, I'm not that person who will sell my soul just for the trending, you know, so that I trend and I just do some crazy stuff. I believe in the music. You know, I believe my music will take me there. And ultimately, people will realize my music. And so long I've got the very good products, when people listen to my music, they'll embrace it, you know. So yeah, really, I want to conquer the world with the music, you know. That's why I watch Bob Marley. I'm trying to borrow one or two things from him. You know, I'm trying to learn what made him also tick, you know. Yeah, I want to conquer the world. That's the truth. I'll never be satisfied with just being here in Zimbabwe, celebrated just among my people, Zimbabweans. I want my people to celebrate that this is our ambassador who has conquered the world. You know, that kind of thing. That's my dream, and that's what I'm living for. Yeah.
Wow. Great. I really appreciate it. It's been awesome speaking to you. Where do people get your music? How can people access your music? And those that want to get in touch with you, promoters and others, how do they get in touch with you?
Okay, when it comes to my music, right? Born to Lead is on all like top digital platforms, on Spotify, on Deezer, on iTunes, and all that. You can find it. And also like my music also on Facebook. If you want to make a story, if you type my music, GANJAHTRIX, my music will come out. And you can use my music on Facebook, even on TikTok. It's also there. And then you can get me on social media, GANJAHTRIX, on all platforms.
Yes.
Just search for GANJAHTRIX, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. It's GANJAHTRIX, and just beware of the spelling. GANJHTRIX. The GANJAHTRIX, and it's one word, right?
Great.
And they can also get more personal with me on WhatsApp if they plus 263
yes
772 294 389. Yeah, plus 263 772 294 389. You can get all of me there. Yeah.
Wow, it's been awesome. I really appreciate. Thank you so much for the patience and taking time to speak to us. It's an honor, because for so many years, I mean, one person that I've seen doing music who has remained very consistent and kept pushing without, pursuing or running after the hype. You still, the ultimate entertainer. And thank you so much, King.
Yeah, thank you so much. Also, I'm also like humbled, to be on your platform. We value every, like we say, we are not hype people.
Yes.
Everything that comes our way, we embrace it, with humility, and we love it, and we respect people who recognize our value, because we say real, recognize real. So even to all those who are listening, who have taken their time to listen to this interview, yeah, I know they are for real. They really follow what I do, and they are keen to discover what I do, and they love what I do. Yeah. So enough respect, peace and prosperity, love on earth, righteousness on earth, Yeah, we want a better world. This music, it's more than just music, it's more than music, if I should say. Music is just an instrument, it's just a weapon. But the purpose is for us to influence people to have a better life, a righteous life, a more peaceful world, a world that has got opportunities for each and everyone, Yeah, rise up Africa, rise up worldwide. Blessed love. Rastafari.
Enough respect. Thank you so much, King. I really, really appreciate everybody who's been watching. My name is Plot Mark. I've been speaking there to GANJAHTRIX, aka Jah Bless. And he's been talking to us about his music, his journey, a very, exciting, interesting journey that dates back to 1995-96. When I was in Form 1, Form 2 there, he was already making music. And he has never stopped making music until now. He still continues to make great music. He's got a new album that is called Born to Lead, which is available online. You can find it online on all online platforms. GANJAHTRIX, the album is Born to Lead. Until next time, remember, ear ground your voice amplifier. I'm out.